100 years ago, it was the sixth city. Today, Cleveland is a city shaped by its makers, movers, and shakers. I'm Sara Shookman. Come celebrate Clevelanders doing cool things in the Sixth City Marketing Society.
Hi, I'm Haley Greathouse, and I'm the founder of the Cleveland Bucketlist.
What should we do today, tonight, this weekend? The Cleveland Bucketlist has the answer. The See It All, Eat It All, Do It All Instagram account started by Haley Greathouse organizes the best the Sixth City has to offer for tourists and Clevelanders alike. And her 56,000 followers have taken note.
Haley, it's so great to be here with you today. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Sixth City Marketing Society.
I am so happy to be here. Thanks for thinking of me.
So for the uninitiated, what is the Cleveland Bucketlist?
The Cleveland Bucketlist is an Instagram and a website dedicated to sharing about all the cool things that you can do around Cleveland. We create guides to help you explore new areas of town and find new things to do, and we share what we're doing on Instagram as well.
I have been following you guys for a long time, and your guides are the best. I love the bucket lists, and they just give so much inspiration for this city that we love.
Thank you. I use them all the time myself.
So talk to me about your inspiration. Why did you start the Cleveland Bucketlist?
For sure. So I grew up in a suburb of Cleveland, and then I went to college in Orlando. I decided I wanted to move back and be around my family. So when I came back, I was looking to kind of have the same fun experiences that I'd had in Orlando at college in Cleveland, and I just wasn't finding a place to find that information. And I kind of just kept mentioning it to friends and family, and eventually my husband's boyfriend at the time was like, why don't you just start something? There's really no cost to starting an Instagram, and we like to do some fun stuff, so let's just see what we can come up with. And so I just started posting on Instagram. Thankfully, the climate on Instagram was a lot different in 2018, so it was really easy to just kind of start posting and see what would happen. There wasn't as much of like the algorithm and all of that. But we grew pretty quickly, and then I realized that I wanted to share more information and have, a deeper conversation, be able to share more and give people a place to really find details. So I launched the website, which I just kind of designed myself with Squarespace, figured out along the way, and launched that probably about 6 months to a year into having started the Instagram, and then just slowly paid attention to what people in other cities were doing and kept growing the Instagram and the website. I think a lot of it was just kind of learning as I went, and I have always worked in marketing. I did social media locally for a couple different breweries, and then also worked in events locally as well. So I feel like all of my experience at those companies has really helped me figure out what to do with the bucket list and vice versa.
I like this idea that you said in Orlando. Obviously, we all think of Disney and parks and all of these things that you had access to there. And sometimes Cleveland gets a bad rap about, not having some of these tourist items. But when you really dig into it, what do you find here?
I think that the most important thing that I've kind of realized in starting the bucket list is that people don't necessarily know what's, right around them. They have their favorites, they know what they like, but they don't necessarily know that, down the street there might be something they haven't tried before. So that kind of opened my eyes in general too. Growing up in Avon Lake, we spent our time on the west side of Cleveland, and I never really spent a lot of time on the east side. But once I started exploring, I found, like University Heights and different places that we could go that I'd never heard of before. So really what I try to do is just encourage people to explore something new. And with the guides, it's a really great way to kind of say, okay, I'm looking for a burger. I've been here before. Where are some other places I can go? And that's kind of how we structure them too, is that we put everything together in one place. So when you want a burger, but you don't know where you want to go, you can open that guide and look through it and be like, okay, this place is, on my way to where I'm headed tonight. I should stop there.
Yes. I think the organization, there's not a great guidebook for Cleveland. Like I think there's one, for the travel minded who go to like a Frommer's or Moon Guides. There is a Cleveland Moon Guide, but it's not, the most up-to-date thing out there. And I feel like you guys are you must be constantly making updates.
Yep, constantly making updates. And also, anytime someone sends us a DM looking for something specific, we're happy to make a guide. I just recently had a baby, and during my pregnancy, I was obviously looking for fun places to find mocktails. And I realized that people were also looking for that. So we created a mocktail guide as the places that we found were serving them. And anytime someone sends us a message, if we don't have the guide already, we'll be happy to create it. One of the fun things that we started within the last year is actually putting together recommendation guides. So we ask a question box on what your favorite jeweler, hairstylist, house cleaner is on our stories, and we get the feedback of all the people that follow us and put them into guides. So when you're looking to find a new doctor, a new hairstylist, you can see actual recommendations from locals in those guides, and those are my favorite. I've used them, especially like as my insurance changes and I'm like, oh no, I gotta find a new doctor. It's a great place to be like, okay, someone on the bucket list said they had a great experience here. So I've really enjoyed those guides, and they're also really helpful to people that have just moved here who might not have that network in Cleveland to ask.
I love how you're crowdsourcing it now. Like it started with you and sharing your experience, and there's still quite a bit of that, but you also are sharing the experience of so many other people who have been following you.
Yeah, I feel like the climate on social media has changed, especially over the course of the last couple of years, where everyone is really excited about sharing their opinion and being a part of the magic. So anytime that we can encourage people to, communicate with us and share what they're experiencing is great.
I also have to say congratulations on your baby. How's mom life treating you?
Thank you. We're pretty fortunate that we brought her home, as the weather started to get nice. So we've spent lots of time walking in our neighborhood, walking around Lakewood, and just being outside, which I'm really thankful for. It's definitely a very large adjustment, figuring out how to balance everything. And honestly, kind of your life changes a lot, and taking some time to think about those changes and just kind of be with that and, get into a new schedule. I just went back to work a couple weeks ago, so figuring that out has been interesting. I do have a full-time job outside of the Cleveland bucket list, so balancing everything is a lot, but it's also given us a really cool place to kind of think about, where we want to take her and how we can create new guides around things that we're doing with her as well.
That's really special. It's a huge adjustment for sure. My littlest guy turns 1 tomorrow, so I know where you are. I have been there not long ago. Hang in. You will get a full night's sleep before too long, hopefully. What is it that you love about Cleveland, Haley?
That's a great question. There's so much. I mean, summer in Cleveland, I think just because it is now summer in Cleveland, it's just unmatched. The weather is just perfect. When we take our dogs to Edgewater Beach and go swimming in the morning on a summer morning, there's just nothing better than that view. And then there's so many great places to just go grab breakfast and coffee right from there. I love the local and small business community. I think that's probably the biggest thing that the bucket list has brought me, is that connection to other small business owners and being able to meet all of these local people that are just really creating awesome opportunities to, showcase great food or things to do. So I think I love the community in Cleveland for sure.
And there is something about summer, but knowing that you are so tied into all these events, do you have plans every day of the year, or at least these 10, 12 weeks of summer? You must have 8 things every Saturday.
Yes, it's hard to balance it all, especially just in thinking about living a normal life. We have a wedding this weekend that I'm in. So, that's one Saturday that I'm really excited about, but also just a Saturday where we don't have time to cover everything that's going on. So that's where Lizzie and Lindsay step in and help. And it's also just great. We have a lot of content that we've taken in the past that can help us promote stuff into the future. So we have content from, events the year previous, and then we can use that content to say, this is what's going on. We also have just a guide on our website with all the events that are happening, so people can kind of see what they want to attend and check that out as well.
I can imagine, in terms of your lists, I know one that I reference frequently is the outdoor patio list, especially this time of year. Is there anything else that's really popular right now?
The date night guide is one of our most popular. We kind of plan out a couple date nights in a bunch of different cities and plan out, what activity you can do, where you can eat, and where you should go after. We have some daytime activities too, and then kind of just based on people's feedback, as well as when I was pregnant, we have one that's like a little less centered on drinking and eating and a little bit more on just like lesser cost items or things that don't involve alcohol as well. So that's our booze-free date night guide. But both of those are super popular. We reference them too for like, oh gosh, what should we do tonight? It's really great to kind of explore a different area that you might not always explore too.
You guys are travelers yourselves. In fact, you run 2 accounts, right? Do you run another account that's based more on your travel outside of Cleveland?
Yeah, we started our Great Bucketlist, I think going on 2 years now, kind of as a way to share what we were doing outside of Cleveland. I felt like if I was traveling and spending a week somewhere and sharing stories to the Cleveland account, if you tuned in halfway through, you'd be like, that doesn't look like Cleveland, and you might be confused. And so we kind of wanted a place to share that content in a different light, and also make sure that we were sharing it specifically for people that were looking for it, and not sharing it to people that are like, I'm only looking for Cleveland stuff, I'm confused. Because a lot of our travels are farther than just, a day trip or a weekend trip from Cleveland. So we launched that, and then I think we honestly were mostly excited about that account with her, and just experimenting and understanding how to travel with a baby now. So we took our first trip, our first plane flight last month, which was honestly, it went really well. And then we have a couple more trips planned this year with her that we'll be sharing on there. And with that as well, Lizzie and Lindsay share their travels there too. So we have a couple different perspectives. Both of them are recent college graduates. So obviously their vacations look a little bit different than ours with baby. So it's kind of fun to share that content and get people, involved in different aspects, and maybe even, go somewhere that they wouldn't have thought about before.
All right, I want to ask you a couple Cleveland favorites, and I'm sure for you, this is probably way more impossible than it is for most of the people I do this interview for, because you've literally experienced so much in the city. Do you have a favorite neighborhood?
I have to say Lakewood. We live in Lakewood, so I'm very biased, but I would be happy to never leave Lakewood. I tell my husband all the time, if we're going to move, we're either moving in Lakewood or we're like leaving Ohio. I'm not leaving Lakewood. I love it. Just being able, especially now with her, to walk from our house. We've had dinner at El Carnicero at Lakewood Truck Park, and we can just walk to those places from our house. It's really nice. We've even walked down to Humble. So I think Lakewood for sure.
Love Lakewood. I moved from there right before COVID, and I miss it daily. So how about favorite restaurant?
This question is so hard, and I feel like all of these questions are so hard because I always feel like it depends on our mood, it depends on like the day, how much money we want to spend. But some of our favorites are Luca. We love both the one in Westlake and the one in the Flats. Timetable has always been a favorite for us. It's just excellent every single time. I get the same meal. It's the same every time, which I think it just speaks volumes of how well they do. Humble and Harlow's for pizza are 2 of our favorites. And then we love Cleveland Bagel. We've been really into the smoothies and the smoothie bowls at Beet Jar lately. There's just so many options.
What's your favorite cheap eats? I love how, as you said, there's so many factors that go into it, and the Cleveland Bucket List makes it very easy to go by those factors if you're looking for inspiration. So like if you're thinking cheap eats, what's Haley's personal favorite?
Happy Dog is definitely one of our favorites. I feel like Rally Inn, I don't know if it would be like cheap, but it's just like fun and fast. Lucky's Cafe is also a great spot. We really like to just like sit and kind of enjoy. So I don't do a lot of fast casual, but I think we enjoy Boaz is a great one that I think people kind of forget about. And then Aladdin's as well is like such an easy one to just grab takeout and have a great meal at home.
Is there an experience that if you have a friend coming in town for a day, you're like, don't miss this?
It depends on the season. I think for the summer, the Botanical Gardens or Holden Arboretum are really awesome options to check out and really special to Cleveland. For dinner, right now, Amba has to be our #1 choice for people to check out. It's just so different, and I think they just do a really great job as well. And then I think, seeing Edgewater, seeing the lake, when I first started the bucket list, all of my friends from Orlando were like, you can't see the other side of the lake. What do you mean? Like, they were so used to just like internal lakes. So you got to go see the beach and the lake and see that we have some great waterfront. And then in the winter, I think tobogganing is one that is just like so silly, but so much fun. So that's one that I've tried to get everyone to participate in anytime they come to visit.
I also love that, to get down to the Metro Parks chutes in Strongsville. It's just fun. Other favorites. Do you have a favorite between the Browns, the Cavaliers, and the Guardians?
The Guardians. I was at Game 7 for the World Series, and it's been really hard to come back around. We spent a lot of money, and we're very, very sad, but it's just so much fun. I don't think anything beats, a summer in the ballpark, just having a beer and watching the team, and they do a great job at entertaining, and I've just been a fan for my whole life. So that's definitely our team for sure.
Well, Haley, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate getting to know you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for thinking of me. I really enjoyed this.